Hey all, here are OS Reviews. Today we're taking a closer look at the QCY T10 TWS wireless buds. As we briefly talked about in our video on the QCY H01s, QCY is a brand that we saw about 3 years ago when TWS buds were first introduced on the market, and they tried to bring out affordable models, but as competition started to spice up, it's been harder to stand out. But I'm glad to see that their products are still very good in terms of their performance and quality, and really this is no exception. Whereas the H01s are their current flagship with active noise cancellation and selling for around $60. This one here is even cheaper, so it's an ultra budget pair that sells for only $25. So it really is a direct competitor to something like Redmi's AirDots at a ridiculously low price. Comes in a number of different colors from greens to pinks, and it's another trend that we're seeing here is more and more customization with these buds. No longer do you have to only see black or white. You can find more options now, even for budget models. And what's interesting here is they actually have dual drivers built on in. So each side has 2 drivers for a combined total of 4, and they are armature drivers as well, so we'll see if that can impact and make the sound quality better. These have 21 hours of battery life with the case combined, which is not the longest in the world. However, the T10s here are one of the most compact and smallest wireless buds that I've seen yet. And also they are compatible with the QCY app, which we also saw with the HT01. You can remap the touch controls to do different things, including adjusting the volume, which is awesome. There's even a equalizer that's built into the supported app for these pair of buds, which is really nice to see. We do have the quick charge support, so 10 minutes of charging in the case will get you over an hour of listening time, which is great to see. And it supports, again, audio codecs like SBC and AAC, although as expected at this price, it doesn't come with aptX. This model is also missing a low latency gaming mode, so it's going to be best suited for watching videos, media, and for listening to music. But if you want something that has the lowest latency in terms of fast gaming, that might be something to consider looking at another model for. Now in terms of the packaging here, very simple and similar to their other products. There's a QR code that you can scan to download the companion app for iOS or for Android. Here's all the different colors, and the specs are reiterated on the rear. And inside of the casing here, we have just the T10s themselves. We have the green edition. We'll take a closer look at in a moment. Spare silicone tips to get a more custom fit. USB Type-C for charging, as well as a quick user guide. The casing here is absolutely tiny, by the way, has rounded corners and pretty cute looking, super easy to take with you. Here's a comparison with the Apple AirPod casing. You can see that overall it's actually a touch slimmer, and also in terms of the Redmi AirDots, it's also going to be smaller as well. Up against the aforementioned HT01s, you can see it's much smaller, and it's going to be more compact and travel friendly. In terms of the design, we have just the Type-C port on the bottom here for charging, LED status lights for the battery remaining in the case, QCY logo on the top, and also a reset/connect key on the back of the casing, and that is pretty much it. The door here can open up, and once it's opened, again, the buds will pretty much instantly try to connect with your phone, so very fast pairing, and the buds themselves are also magnetic and can be attached here pretty easily. Taking a quick look at the buds next, they have a similar color, of course, as the battery case that you selected, except there's a 2-tone finish, so there's a slightly shinier material on the external, also more simple to tap for the touch controls on the stem. We have some of the microphones as well as the charging contacts, and on the other side it has a texture which is more matte to provide some resistance when you're wearing it. Overall, they're super lightweight and also pretty comfortable and ergonomic. I was able to shake my head, walk around, jog, and they still stayed in place without any problems. Here's a quick size comparison again with the full-sized Apple AirPods. You can see how much smaller the stems are. Let's take a quick look at the companion application. It's the same one for all of their wearables, but you can open up the casing here for a pop-up notification, as you can see there, that will try and then connect the buds to the app. So it's a pretty fast process, similar to on iOS. You can get a sneak peek of how much battery is left in the case, as well as on the left and right sides, and control some of the settings. So in fact, if we jump into it, we can further tweak things like what double tapping and triple tapping on the buds will do, including playing and pausing the music, adjusting the volume, bringing up the voice assistant. It can all be remapped depending on what features you use most commonly, which is great. And otherwise, the equalizer here is, again, a function that we didn't even see on the flagship flagship T01s. So on here, we're able to change the sound signature by default. You can tweak around with it, go into a bass boosted mode, a pop music mode, classic, soft, rock, and emphasize different elements of the sound depending on what you prefer. Simple app, but works well enough. Now, when it comes to the audio quality and performance of the T10s, as a whole, I would say they are quite good for the price point. They're not going to be the best sounding pair of buds I've ever tried, but that's to be expected. In terms of against its direct competitor, which is the Redmi AirDots, they have a cleaner sound overall. Aside from the music itself, you really can't hear anything else in the background, which is great. And they do have a tuning which emphasizes the mids and the trebles a little bit more. So the bass is perhaps not the strongest on these. It's just not quite as earth-shattering or as rumbly as on their more expensive flagship HT01s. And I think part of the reason is because of the drivers that they used here. They're balanced armature drivers instead of dynamic drivers, which tend to emphasize bass more, versus the balanced armature tends to go for more of mids and trebles. As far as the connectivity is concerned, they were also quite good. I never really encountered any problems in terms of one side disconnecting, as well as for watching videos, including YouTube and Netflix. The video and the audio are synced together quite well, as well as with the left and right sides. So that is more or less it as far as just our quick review of the QCY T10. Again, it's great to still see a pair of buds from these guys that we first looked at over 3 years ago, so time really does fly. And now they're bringing yet another very value-oriented model, this one again just being super affordable and a direct competitor to other models which are starting to lower the price as well. In this case, we get really clean sound, and the standout I would say is A, the design being super lightweight and lots of fun colors, and B, the fact that you have a companion app to remap the controls and the EQ is something that pretty much none of the other competitors at this price will deliver. Aside from that, the sound quality is average but clean, and so if you're looking for something that doesn't really break the bank but fits well and is comfortable, you can check out more details below. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the QCY T10.